to introduce Karthi Ganesh Durai to all the participants. Karthi Ganesh Durai is a software engineer turned into data scientist who is aspiring to become quantum machine learning expert. He is a co-founder of Quantum Computing India. He had completed master degree in computer applications from NILIT. He is pursuing his MBA from Puducherry University. Karthi Ganesh has 15 plus years of experience in software development, currently working as a data scientist in an US based MNC. His specialization includes Python, machine learning, QML, quantum classic hybrid architecture. He's having hands-on experience in QIS Kit and Penny Lane with solutions implemented on IBM Q and AWS Bracket. Once again, welcome back, sir. Sir, you can take
Thank
over
you,
the
madam.
session now.
Yes, madam. Thank you very much. Thanks for
Okay,
the
sir.
warm welcome.
Yes, okay, sir.
Let me share my screen and start this session. Thanks for inviting me for this session. And among professors, I'm from industry, so there may be some different way of uh, presenting the concepts. Um, because from industry we will focus on different element of any task. Of course, everything is powered by industry and education supported concepts. Hope you are seeing my screen, madam. Oh,
Yes,
okay,
sir,
not
it's
yet.
visible clearly. Sir, can
Oh,
you
okay.
pin it, sir? Full screen?
Okay, now.
Yes, sir. Yes, it's full screen.
Oh, okay. Right. Cool. Today we have two sessions. Session five, both are demonstration of Qiskit, and these are the topics I planned. Both are demonstrations. So I planned these are the topics. First, we will start with what is Qiskit, and then what are the alternatives to Qiskit. Then how to create your own account in IBM Cloud and get your hand dirty with Qiskit practice and all. Then we will see what are the single qubit gates, seven multi-qubit gates, and how we can run Qiskit in your local host instead of depending on the IBM Cloud. Then we will see how the Qiskit problems are visualized. Then we will see deep dive into these two popular algorithms. Then I will demonstrate how can you run your quantum circuits on a real quantum computer, IBM quantum computers. Then where we can use Qiskit applications. Then there are few knowledge areas like Qiskit YouTube channel, all those things, and Qiskit textbook. Those things we will cover. Everything is going to be a presentation kind of demonstration kind of thing. So I will actually share the working screen and explain the concepts. To start with, let me go with this uh, simple presentation where I will cover the introduction concepts. So we can start. So what is Qiskit? Qiskit is the open source software platform in Python released by IBM for exclusively quantum computing. So even though it is released by IBM, we can use Qiskit for writing quantum computing programs on other quantum computers also, like Rigetti, IonQ, and Google Circ. This also possible to run. And we need Python 3.8.5 virtual environment. And for the coding, we will use Jupyter Lab. Of course, for the production purpose, I'm using Visual Studio Code. But for learning purpose, it is better to start with Jupyter Lab. So if you are familiar with the Python and Jupyter Lab, you can start working on quantum computing. That is the message. Then Qiskit made that programming a lot easier because in initial days I used to work on an language called QCL, quantum computing language. Let me open a notepad also, um, because this will help us to take notes on the fly. QCL, quantum computing language, which is a simulator. The syntax is similar to C language, sorry, C++. This was I used earlier, but these days Qiskit made our work a lot easier. So If you see this Qiskit, it has four elements: terra, ignis, aqua, and air. Let us see what are these components. So Qiskit Terra is the foundation. It has all the quantum gates and circuits. AER is the simulator and backend to the real quantum devices. Ignis is the noise handling component. Aqua is the actually the list of library of algorithms, but it is deprecated now and replaced by these packages. Qiskit optimization for optimization libraries, Qiskit finance for quantum finance related libraries, then Qiskit machine learning for QML libraries, then Qiskit nature. Earlier it was called Qiskit metal for hardware simulation. So these are the components. These are theoretical concepts. We need not to understand each one, or you need not to deep dive into that one. Okay, and though it is a demonstration about Qiskit, we should know what are the alternatives also, because Qiskit is from IBM, and there are other players also, like Google, IonQ, Rigetti, D-Wave, and these are all the organizations who are building real quantum computers. They also have their own software framework. Let us see what are those software frameworks. Google has a framework called Silk, and this is the logo. Then D-Wave introduced Ocean. Rigetti has Forest. Xanadu has Strawberry Field. Microsoft has QSharp. Cambridge Quantum Computing has TCAT. There is a new organization called Classic IO from Israel. They have an environment called Classic. So out of these things, there is AWS also having a called Bracket from AWS, and there are new more environments, new more quantum computing solution development frameworks, software development kits are coming. This is as of November 2021. These are the popular environments. There are other environments also. I'm not going into those things, but one thing you will observe: ocean, forest, fields. So most of the quantum computing frameworks have the name of nature related or nature influenced names. That is the reason. Even in Qiskit also, you can see the components has the four elements of nature: earth, air, water, and fire. So I don't know whether it is a coincidence or they are purposefully naming with a nature related, nature influenced naming. But one thing what I observed in this industry or in quantum computing, the the principles of quantum computing are close to nature. What I mean close to nature means they are not Boolean algebra. So Boolean algebra is not natural, right? We never think about ones and zeros and or not operations. We have larger operations to perform. So the quantum mechanics or quantum physics influenced quantum computing enables us to process more natural way because it is powered by linear algebra operating on Hilbert space using complex numbers. Whereas our classical digital computers are using Boolean algebra on binary numbers. So that is a major difference that opens up the entirely new kind of processing capabilities, algorithms, use cases, which cannot be done classical digital computers. So with this introduction, now I'm jumping into IBM Qiskit. If you want to work in IBM Qiskit, you have to create a free account on IBM Q Cloud using this URL. Let me show that URL. If you go to that URL, it will ask you if you don't have account, you can create like this. Once you create your account, it will show like this. Let me show that account. I already opened the window. It is here. So I have already created my account long time back. So I have various services, all those things, whatever I used before. It is just top 10. And here you can see Launch Composer, Launch Lab, and these are the programs. and some notification. This is the dashboard. Once you create your account, I recommend if you are preferred to do along with me during the demonstration, you can create your IBM account now itself, or else you can do it after the sessions also. So IBM Qiskit allows two modes. You can see here, launch composer, launch lab. We will focus what is composer, what is lab. So you can write or you can build quantum solutions in two modes, circuit mode or programming mode. For people from computer programming background, they will like the programming mode using lab. It is Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook. But the people from electronic side or circuit designing side and non-computer programming background, they like circuit model. That's why um, IBM provides two interfaces. Personally, I feel that we should start, even though we are from programming background. So, I am from programming background. I like programming language-based interface, but I recommend explore this circuit model or how to build your circuit. That's what we are going to see first. So in the circuit model, we have files, then list, operations gallery, then circuit designer, then visualization code, and then configuration. Let me show in the practical demonstration. So here I am in my IBM Q Cloud account. I'm going to launch Composer. So this Composer will show you a list of files. You can hide this file area like this if you want more working area. And this is the composer jobs, what are the jobs running, and this is the tutorials, documentation and tutorials. If you get stuck, you can learn from this one. In a way, this is the reason why most of the quantum computing professionals start with IBM Q. The reason is that they have that environment end to end available, meaning that we can start working on the circuit or program quickly compared to other platforms. That is one reason why IBM Qiskit is more popular compared to other platforms. Okay, so in this circuit, it is very simple. You have list of gates here. Don't worry, I will explain what are these gates after this presentation or this demonstration, because this explanation to these gates involves some mathematical explanation explaining poly details. That's why I am keeping away from that for a time being. For the next 10 to 15 minutes, we will see what is IBM Qiskit. So you can see here, this is the H gate, NOT gate, C NOT gate, CC NOT gate, swap, identity, like this. There are multiple gates. And if you want to, and this circuit is 3 qubit. You can see here Q0, Q1, Q2, and there are 3 classical registers. Because at the end of all the calculation, we need classical registers to measure the value. That's why we have this classical registers. If you add one more qubit, the classical registers will become 4. So you will have the number of classical registers will be equivalent to number of quantum registers in your quantum circuit. This is the whole thing is called a quantum circuit. Let me put one circuit here. See, for example, one gate. I am putting a NOT gate. NOT gate will always negate the state. You can see here after I put, if I remove this one, you can see the state vector points to all 000. And if I put NOT gate here and another NOT gate in the second, the third one, you will see currently my state vector is 1001. And if you remember Turing machine, the execution or getting result is nothing but change of the states. So we will be able to change the states using these gates. If you properly change the gates, then you will able to perform some computation. This is the secret behind this particular model. So after performing not gate, because everything is initialized to 0. After negating, that become 1. That is the current state. We can perform some operation. For example, I can rotate the X gate. Now you will see it is rotating with some probabilities. So, and let me rotate the Y gate to this one. So now you can see the resultant state vector is 0 50% and 1 50%. So there are some phase angle, and then this Q sphere will show you. This is without any superposition, meaning that in the orthonormal basis state, this quantum circuit is not entered into superposition now. The power of quantum computing is realized when you place your circuit in this coherent superposition. So how can I make these circuits the coherent superposition? You bring the H gate. Now the whole scenario will get changed. If you put coherent superposition, now you will get probability of getting 4 states. Because in superposition, quantum circuit will behave massively parallel fashion. Imagine that if I move the Hadamard gate to for second and third, even though they are not having any gate, they are also contributing to your circuit. So now you have 8 possible states. And if you want to measure these individual qubits, you have to add measurement like this. So you see, after measuring, it is going to one state. So you might have seen the theoretical quantum or qubits are in coherent superposition. When you measure, they will collapse to one of the possible classical state. Now you can see visibly here. Okay, and here this is an important concept, and even though you don't understand it fully, but I want you to understand these concepts. I'm just typing for the easy comprehension. Let us put that one. Drag and drop the quantum waves, add measurement at the end. Result in one of the basis state. That's what happening here. Okay, and if you are coming from electrical electronics background, this look very familiar to you. But if you are from programming background, this window look familiar to you. This window, what I am highlighting now, this is code window where you can see the corresponding operations. This is not, I first want to show open cosm. See, open cosm is something similar to your assembly language. It is Q means quantum, ASM means assembly language, quantum assembly language. And all of you can recall, all classical digital computers are operating on machine language with ones and zeros, then which is easily coded using assembly language, using mnemonics. The same thing is happening in quantum computer also. We have mnemonics for each gate operation. And let me just show you assembly language example, because just I want to make sure that this is not similar to our classical computing. Yeah, this is a This is your assembly language program. It may look familiar. Load accumulator, stored accumulator, and ASR, BCC, jump. These are all looks familiar if you are from assembly language. Same thing is available in quantum computing also in the name of OpenQuasm. OpenQuasm is the standard introduced by IBM. Now, many organization or many quantum computers also supporting OpenQuasm instruction set. So the final message is using IBM Circuit Composer, we can build any quantum circuits. So this quantum circuit can be used for some purpose. Let me show some actual working quantum circuit. I may not have here. Yeah, this Groyer algorithm is the one thing, very popular one. Let me open Groyer algorithm. Yeah, this is the Groyer search quantum circuit. We will see what is a Groyer search algorithm in detail, but this is one of the production or complete algorithm built on IBM Composer. So it is performing NOT gate, then going to superposition, then other superposition. How it is doing is the concept called amplitude amplification that I will explain when we are covering Grover algorithm. Okay. So now assume that I have built a circuit and I want to run the circuit. For that you have to go to the setup and run. And here is the you can choose which system you want to run. For example, you can run on a IBM quantum computer which is installed in Manila or Bogota. You can see the number of qubits here, 5 qubits, 5 qubits. Or else you can run on a simulator like simulate stabilizer, simulator MPS, simulator external qubits, or IBM Quantum simulator. See, for this one, I chose IBM Q Quantum simulator. And if you want to run on a real quantum computer, you have to choose any one of these quantum computer, real quantum computer. And here you can choose what provider you want to choose. It is always IBM Q open mail. Then shots. Shots is the um, number of attempt or number of times the same circuit is repeated, because you may recall quantum computing is working on the probability concept. So to get the accurate result, we have to run the same circuit multiple times. That is the number of shots. You can choose it 2048 if you want to more accurate, or 1024 is the standard number of shots. Then we can give a name. For example, you can see demo. Then you can run this one. If you run this one, it will take some time. You can see here it is running. So this will show you the running jobs. It looks like it's completed. You can see the status is completed and the output you are seeing here already. For this one, it is giving this one. So it is the simplest way to build any Qiskit program, then run on Composer, IBM Q Composer. Here, I would like to take a pause, answer your questions, then move to IBM Jupyter Lab environment. We can have questions for another 5 minutes, then I will jump onto Jupyter Lab based environment. Any question here? Okay. You can type in the chat window also. Madam, is there any question from any staff, faculty members?
Yes, is there any question from the participants? So you can ask, you can interact with the sir.
Yeah, because, yeah.
I think there is no question, sir.
Very good. Good to know. Looks like this is very easy to understand concept. That's why there are no questions. Let us go back to the next model or next environment, which is called lab environment, which is powered by Jupyter Lab. Okay, madam, for the benefit of this bandwidth, let me mute my video.
Okay, sir.
Okay, my video is not coming, right? My only my screen share is coming, right?
Okay, sir. Fine.
So it is starting up. Earlier I opened, but it will take some time to start up. So in the meantime, let me show the deck where I will cover up some of the operations in the Jupyter Lab. If you start your IBM Q lab environment, it will appear like this. There will be all the program, and then there is a Jupyter notebook appear here. Running sessions, debugger, and the documentation. Same as Composer. I think now it's open. Yeah, it's opening. It is updated Jupyter. It's not Jupyter Notebook. This is called Jupyter Lab. If you are hands-on with Python programming environment, I believe that you start using Jupyter Lab. Current version is Jupyter Lab. Earlier it was called Jupyter Notebook. And madam, for the benefit of all the participants, I created the presentation and then all the programs in a Google Drive. Later, I will share with you if anyone wants access to this one. They can raise the request to me. I will share their Gmail ID here such that they will have access to the session plan and then all these things.
Sure, sir. Sure. We'll share it, sir, with the participants.
Thank you. So you can see here it is a Grower algorithm. Before jumping to the Grower algorithm, let me create a new circuit or new program. I will click new file and you have to select this Qiskit V 0.32 and it will open a file untitled. You can right click and rename it. Usually I will rename immediately. After renaming that, as usual, as a usual Python programming, you have to import few uh, packages. So for any IBM quantum computing, you have to import the quantum circuit, execute, and AER, then the plot histogram. So these two things are bare minimum for building any quantum computing. So I will import these things first. Let me run it. And you can see here it runs successfully. Now let me initialize a quantum circuit. QC equal to quantum circuit of 2 bits. And here I would like to QC dot X gate of 0, then QC X of 1. Madam, if hope I'm online, right?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
because
Sir, proceed, sir.
okay, right. So let me take this very simple model because just I want to have this one also. So yeah, right. Actually we have to import these things also. Let us do that when we need that. After these things, I can QC dot drop. If you run this cell, you will see the first qubit is in X gate, second qubit in the X gate. And if you want to see what is the BLOS pair for this one, we can go to this Blosphere model, which need state vector and these four statements for visualizing the circuit. And it will throw error because I don't have the module state vector. So obviously I have to import these two things. So let me import all these four. Now it will show you the Blosphere. So it looks very simple, right? But understanding what does it mean, that is the challenging here, for which we need to know what is a qubit, what is the Blosphere, what is the representation, how these things are mathematically represented. All those things we have to deep dive. Considering my scope as a Qiskit demonstration, I am not deep diving that into that one. But if any of you wanted to know, let me know. I can have a digress here and then explain those concepts, then come back. I believe that all of you might have those concepts already introduced in previous sessions. So with that assumption, I'm moving forward. And assume that I want to first bit as a X register, second bit as the Y register. I can do this, then run this way. And if you see here, there is not much difference between X gate and Y gate. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to apply superposition using H gate. So what I'm doing now, I'm applying H mean Hadamard gate, which will move your qubit to the superposition. So I'm applying Hadamard gate for first qubit and then second qubit, then performing X gate on the first qubit, Y gate on the second qubit. Let us see how it is appearing. Now the Blosphere will show different states.
Excuse me, sir. Your voice is breaking, sir, somewhat.
Now, madam, is it good now?
And now also same thing, sir. It's breaking.
Okay. Maybe since the system, when I press Shift Enter, what about now, madam? Is it clear now?
Not able to hear, sir. Once close it and then restart, sir. Like stop and then share it once again, sir, so that
Okay.
it will be clear.
I stopped sharing. Is it clear, madam, now?
Now also breaking, sir.
Mm-hmm. Maybe the poor network quality. Now, madam.
Same thing, sir.
Oh,
It's not clear.
but my screen is visible, right?
Yes, your voice is clear now.
Okay, cool.
Yes, fine, sir.
Some network issues. Apologies. So now what you are seeing here, after we apply Hadamard gate, we are able to see some changes for the X gate and Y gate. So this is the important concept. So most of the operations are done or effective when you initialize your qubit to the coherent superposition. And after that, if you want to measure, you can measure using QC dot measure. Oh, okay, sir. I have to measure like this. So I have to have classical register equal to. So let us come back to measure at the measuring time. I don't want to confuse now. So let us keep it this way. Because those things we need more import. Okay. Then also there is one more view called state vector view. Let us go back to the presentation. So what you can see after running any program, any Qiskit program, you have multiple options to see either as a Blosphere or plot diagram or state vector. Let me put it in this one. Visualization, Gaussian. But in quantum Qiskit, it is also called Q-sphere in Qiskit. The reason is that multiple qubits, it is called Blosphere. Single qubit, multiple qubit Q-sphere, single qubit Blosphere. State vector and plot diagram. So these are the way to see the output of any quantum program or Qiskit program. So how are we now? Currently, I demonstrated only Blosphere. How are we going to see the state vector? All those things we will see after I explain the gates, because understanding gates is very important. After that, we will jump into the visualization part. Cool. So now, what are the gates available in Qiskit? That is one important question. These are the gates: NOT gate, C NOT gate, CC NOT gate, swap, T gate, S gate, T dagger, S dagger, Z gate, P gate, and then rotate Z rotation. Then you have RX rotation, RY rotation. Then RXS, RGZ, unitary gate, Y gate. Then this is also called S gate, but this is SX gate. Then this is SX dagger. Then Hadamard gate. These are the gates. Now you can think about our digital computer gates. So if you go into the classical system, classical gates, you have AND gate, OR gate, NOT gate, XOR, NAND, NOR. These are the popular gates, and then there is XNOR also. So now you can compare or just try to visualize this thing. In digital computer, we are performing AND operation, OR operation, combination of AND, OR, NOT, NOR, XOR, X, NAND. And NAND is the universal gate. So all other operations can be built using this NAND or NOR gate. So the basic operations are AND, OR, NOT, and XOR. These are the basic operations. But in case of quantum gates, we have many gates. The reason is that the capabilities of quantum mechanics allows us to perform these kind of operations. First thing is these are all reversible. That's why number of input and the number of output will be same. But in case of classical gates, for AND we will have two inputs and one output. But in all quantum gates, they are equal number of input and equal number of output. That is one major difference because they are reversible. And they are operating on the linear algebra, not Boolean algebra. That is another reason why we have more gates, because the operations are not just flipping, it is phase rotation, angle rotation, flipping, direction. These multiple attributes of a qubit or quantum state can be operated. That's the reason why we have multiple gates. And then when we have entangled qubits, we will have more capabilities. That's where we have this C naught, CC naught, swap, those gates also available. Make sense? Now, let me explain. I'm trying to explain. Don't worry if you are if you found this is very complex. Let us take the basic gates: X gate, Y gate, Z gate. So X gate is nothing but it is represented mathematically using a matrix called Pauli X matrix, and this is Pauli Y matrix. Then this is Pauli Z matrix. What are these Pauli matrices? Let me show. a simple Wikipedia post. It's not here. Just now I have opened. I will open again. Pauli matrices. Yeah, here in Wikipedia. I want you to focus on this particular line. Or the full words. In quantum mechanics, they occur in the Pauli equation, which takes into account the interaction of the spin of a particle with an external electromagnetic field. So spin of a particle, this is the crux. If you understand this particular statement, most of the concepts in quantum computing will, it is a kind of paradigm shift. You will able to understand how the quantum computer is working. Spin of a particle with external magnetic field. And remember, this is quantum mechanics, so these are complex numbers, not real numbers. So spin of a particle. Now I have to go back to the particle. Spin of a particle. And you can recall that there are 12 particles inside an electron, classified into quarks and leptons. So these particles have some energy in the which is called spin of the particle. That spin energy can be either at the North Pole or in the South Pole. Imagine that we are representing North Pole as 0 ket, South Pole as 1 ket. North Pole 0 ket, South Pole. It is a crude explanation, but it will help us to understand. The ket is nothing but convenient representation. We can represent like this also. This is 0 ket and this is 1 ket. It is a vector. So 0 ket means it is.
Sir, excuse me, sir. The slide is not visible.
Oh, is it?
Yes, sir. Just now, sir. Yes, sir. Now it's visible.
Oh, okay. There is some little. So now you are seeing,
Due to
right,
some
the spin
movement.
of particles, which are particles are quarks and leptons, and we can think about that spin either in the North Pole as the 0 ket, South Pole in the 1 ket. But if there is an external magnetic field or any other energy, for in case of photons, it will be external laser beam. But in case of non-photonic qubits, it will be magnetic field. So if you apply external force, that 0 ket or 0 state or 1 state will be in between somewhere inside that particle, right? Which we can call it as a superposition as A ket or X ket. Usually it is called a psi ket. They call it as a psi ket like this, but I'm putting X ket. This X ket is nothing but A 0 ket plus B 1 ket. So A and B are probability of being in the 0 ket, probability in 1 ket. This combination will give you the position somewhere inside that particle, the spin energy. That's what you see in the Bloch-Spear. I think we need this fundamentals now. That's why I'm focusing on this one. Let me take, yeah, this one is very simple to understand. Yeah, this one also easy to understand. So here you can see here, 0 ket in the North Pole, 1 ket is in the South Pole. Let me open this in a new tab. So we have 0 ket, 1 ket, and due to some operation, it can be in anywhere in between this, in this particle, that spin energy, which is called cycate. This cycate is determined by this theta and phi of this angle, which can be manipulated with external magnetic pole. Now, with this understanding, if we come to Pauli matrices, you can realize that the external magnetic field, the interaction or the interaction of spin energy, it's represented by Pauli matrices, which are X, Y, Z. This is the fundamental concept, but there are advanced concepts also. So by applying those things, we will be able to manipulate the spin of a particle by operating appropriate Pauli matrices. Okay, and here I would like to take a break and open for question, because this is one of the important concept. And if you understand this one, I strongly believe that all other concepts will fall in place. Any question? One or two questions I can take now.
Participants can interact with Mr. Karthik Ganesh Durai.
You can
Please,
call me
if you have any
KG.
questions, please interact. Yes,
Madam,
okay,
all
sir.
of you can refer me KG. That will be a lot easier.
Yes, sir. I saw that. Sir. Yes, that form. Nice. Is there any questions from participant side?
I expect one or two questions.
Yes.
Okay. Because with this, the presentation is over. Hereafter, all demonstration.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello. Sir, so this means that if we have to change the output, or if we are targeting at a particular output of the gate, we have to change either the magnetic field, or like we have to change the spin of the particle. So we will be changing, like we will be giving some electromagnetic signals to do that.
Correct. That's
Okay,
correct
sir.
understanding. Yeah. Yes. You are right.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. And if any of you want to understand how the quantum computer is actually working, I can't claim that I know everything, but I know some fundamental concepts from the physics and mathematical concepts, and then how it is applied in building a real quantum computer. Because those things are covered in building quantum computer in one of the course which I took certification. There they explained clearly. So with the help of those course, I understood how these Pauli matrices are translated into quantum operations, and which can be applied for computation. And I believe all of you know that this is a one vertical in quantum physics or quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics have multiple applications. One of the application is quantum computation. We are focusing only on quantum computation, but it has profound application on different fields. In computation, this understanding is essential. The Pauli matrices are used to study the interaction or manipulate the interaction of spin of a particle with external magnetic field. So by changing the external magnetic field with our computer, we can change the spin position, then measure it later. Then it will give you the result. Okay. Right. If no more question, I will wait for one more minute. I will start the next topic from 12:35. After that, we will have. Madam, when should I give break or no need for break?
No need to give breaks, sir. You can end this session at till 1:45. You can take, sir.
Okay. Okay.
If you need, you can continue till 1:45 or else
Sure, madam.
1:30. Yes, sir.
No. I will
And
continue
afternoon
one
session
further.
also there, sir. Afternoon session also will be continued, right?
Yes, madam. Sure.
Okay, sir. Participants can ask the questions, please.
No, I think no more question. Good.
Yes,
We,
okay.
we are. We can start the demonstration now. Now let me, where is that? Where is that window? Okay, right here. So now let us start from the fundamental concepts. I have everything in my QCI folder. I will start from very basic concepts and then proceed one by one. Then later we will see specific algorithms. So I'm in the morning session, I'm planning to cover all the fundamental concepts. Let us start from first notebook. Here, this is very simple. You are creating a quantum circuit with 8 qubit and 8 classical bit and measuring the output. So it has nothing, just circuit and output. That's it. And we are seeing that in the plot diagram. Okay, let us. So earlier, when I built this one some long time back, that time the text output was the standard, but now they moved to MPL. You can see here this interface. This is old way of visualization, but now IBM changed this as the standard visualization model. This is called MPL. So earlier, if we give a parameter MPL, then only you will get it here. See, now you are getting here, right? But earlier, if you put text here, you will get this output. This is text output. So text output is very faster. And you can see here it is adding, meaning that it is keep on adding because I did not initialize this one. So if I initialize this one, you will see only one. So this draw can take two parameters. One is text, other one is MPL. So MPL means it is a matplotlib interface. Text means just a text interface. So this is a fundamental operation. Build a quantum circuit, measure it, for which we will use this approach. The quantum circuit must be initialized with number of qubits and number of classical bits. So here NP is the binary digit. This is qubit. This is qubit. This is bit. If I want to change only 2 bits, 2 qubits and then 2 bits, you can see it has only 2 qubits. Okay. So remember the first demonstration I showed you directly. I showed you the circuit with the number 2, right? But when we are writing actual programs, we will pass argument like this. The number of bits is like instead like this. Then we will do this. So after the measurement operation, see this one you can see a for loop for measuring all those things, right? But there is a straightforward way is measure all, which will measure all qubits based on the output. Then after that you can draw the circuit. So this is the output. Measure all, the effect of measure all. So measure all is one handy way. Then the, this histogram, the plot histogram is a way to see in the histogram model. The reason why we need to see histogram, if we are performing multiple operations, the end result may be in different states. For visualizing those multiple visual states, we need this histogram. That is the first thing. Then there is a concept called encoding. So here we can see, here you can see there is one circuit called QC encode, and already we have another circuit called QC output. There are two circuits. One is QC output, other one is QC encode. Let me run. We are going to see how is it possible to add these circuits. That's fundamental because we are building multiple circuits. Is it possible to add those circuits? That's what we are going to see. So what I'm going to do, I am creating, okay, because remember it was 8-bit, I changed it to, let me put it 1. So this is, I am applying X operation for the encode circuit, and after that I am adding these two circuits. You see here this cell QC equal to QC encode plus QC output. After adding these two things, you will see a combined circuit. So this will make your what is called leveraging other circuit easy. That is one thing. These things are naturally available in Qiskit. And then you see here it is added that 2-bit, the 2 qubit from QC output, and then 2 qubit from QC encode. These two things are added into this histogram. Then we have other draw. Oh, again this is wrong. Let me put 0 and 1. And we can see multiple operations. So this is a fundamental operation. Build a quantum circuit, measure it, and then add these two circuits. This is the first demonstration. Let us move to the second one. In the second one, we are experimenting other gates and then their result. So this is also a kind of experimenting with multiple operations, meaning that performing operations on multi qubits. So here we have 2 qubits. The first operation, CX, it is controlled X gate, which is represented using this one. And we are performing this operation. See, we are performing one X gate, then one CX gate, then measuring the output. And also, if you want to classify or group the circuits, you can apply a concept called barrier. The quantum circuit. This is an off adder circuit. That's why the name QCHA, off adder, and it is the barrier. We can apply barrier here. And after this one, if you see the result, I'm not showing the result. If you see the plot diagram, you can see the output. Let us show the plot diagram because that will help you to visualize this. So after this one, this is blank cell. I'm adding the plot diagram. Now you can see here, after initializing this with these two operations, it is going to 1. And if I don't perform this CX operation, assume that I'm not performing CX operation here, and oh, it is performing this way. Okay, I have to initialize from here. I have to run from starting, then only it will have effect. And one more thing, as I told you earlier, it should be initialized with the Hadamard gate. You see HA dot H of 0, you see HA dot H of 1. Okay, in all possibilities, the output is 1 1 only, because there is no any other possibility. That's why it is showing all the way. I wanted to do now this operation also. Let me remove this operation and see how where it is generating another way. No, it is all 1 qubit. So this way you can incorporate uh, a meaningful operation and see the state diagram. Plot basis diagram. This is the second example. The third one, it involves some more operations. Here also we are exploring more on the histogram. Oh, no, third one is same as the previous one. whatever I did now, I did in the third one and then demonstrated. That's why it is coming like this. So now we are going to see the Blosphere. Now only we are going to see Blosphere. So for Blosphere, you have to import this plot block vector. I am initializing this one. Then I have only one qubit. You see here, I have only one qubit. Then I having an initial state. This initial state is one of the important concept which you can initialize your scikit with these two values. And these two values should be norm. Whatever value you are giving, that result in a norm. So you can't give 0, 2. It will throw error. See, it is not a, see, sum of amplitude squared does not equal to 1. So that is the reason why they should be always a norm. Either you can give other numbers like 0.717, that kind of numbers it can give. 0.71, 0.71. If you use this one, there is another, the another number will be different. J. I forgot that number. I will get it somewhere else. Let it between the 0, 1. But one thing you should remember, it should be always 1. The squared sum norm should be 1. Remember that one. Then I'm using the simulator, state vector simulator. See here, I'm using state vector simulator, not COSM simulator. Then after that, I'm running the output. So this is the output. You can see here 0 plus 0j. Here j means complex number. This is nothing but 0 plus I, 0i, 1 plus 0i. So as I told you earlier, quantum computing is operating on Hilbert space with complex numbers. It is called n-dimensional complex space. So because all the since it is a complex space, all the numbers are represented as using a complex number. And if you are able to recall vector addition using complex number, you will be able to connect the manipulation of spin will give you result. Then I am measuring. After measuring, I am going to perform a plot histogram. After the plot histogram, see, this is the one thing I remember I told you, 1 square root and then 1j by square root. This will result in one state. Actually, I can print this one also. That will give you an idea. Let me show print initial state. Okay, print initial state. Now you can see 0.70. That's the mistake I made earlier. So this initial state is executed on the back end and then it return a state vector in the variable or object called state. That object has 3 components, actually 4 components, but other 2 components is 0. So it is, first one is 0.70 plus 0 I, then 0, then 0 plus 0.7 I. So this number can be visualized as these 2 points. This means we have equal probability of getting into each state. Right. So now if I gate we are applying, so we are not applying any gate, we are just initializing then measuring, that's it, right? After initializing this q state, assume that I am qc.h0 then qc.x0. Apply these 2 gates, still you are getting equal probability because you are running on simulator, this line AER get backend state vector simulator. Instead of this state vector simulator, if you run on a real quantum computer, you will see different probabilities for this one. Let me, do you want me to show that one? That one is in different code. I will open the codes because yeah, I have to import this IBM 2 and let me insert new cell here. I'm importing these two things. Then after importing that, I have to initialize the backend using, oh, this is also Cosm simulator. Oh, no, let me put 10. Somewhere else I put that my IBM account, not this one. One of the circuit I built, it is here, IBM. I'll show the code now itself because that will help you to, yeah, here it is. PM enable. Let me take this code. This API is the API is wrong. Okay, unauthorized user because authentication failed. The reason is that my API is wrong now. I have to get a, oh sorry, I don't want to do that here. Let me do it here. So, the API, I should get the correct API. I will copy this my current API and put it here. So after this session, I will reset my API. List busy is not defined. Oh my god. List busy I have to declare based on this one.
Excuse me, sir. Voice is breaking once again.
Yeah, since I'm executing, the network will be loaded, madam.
Not clear, sir. It's not clear. Your voice is not audible also.
You are seeing my screen?
Yes, sir. Now it's clear.
I'm typing the reason.
Sir, you can go ahead now.
Yeah. So for any reason, if you don't hear me, it will get cleared after the execution is over.
Oh, okay, fine, sir.
Okay. So I'm just trying to find out that the least busy circuit that is declared somewhere else here. Least busy. So least busy should be imported from this one. Yeah. So I have to import least busy also. Okay. Okay. Yeah, already it's enabled. Now I have to run this instead of this QC backend. I have to run this on this device. I will run this. Yeah. This is simulator. Also simulator. After the list busy, I have to run on this one, execute Grover circuit, this syntax. So this one I have to run the QC. Here it will be QC. Correct. Device is not defined, which means this failure. Okay, it's telling an IBM contact is already in use for this session. Use, okay. I think so. I have to reset my IBM account. Let me generate new token, then copy this token. See why I want to show you now itself. You will understand. You will realize that it is possible to run on this one. We called anywhere else. My account somewhere. That's what I know. It should not cause any issue. But the device is not initialized. Hmm. Okay, but this is the way I will correct it before during our second session. That time I will show you running on the real quantum computer. But you understood the steps. These are the steps. We have to, instead of just AER backend with the simulator, we have to get the backend using this provider. Then run our circuit. See here we are running on our simulator backend, but here running on the real device. So these are the two changes if you want to run your quantum circuit in the real quantum computer. If you understand this one, you will be able to run any quantum circuit on the simulator as well as real system. So why I wanted to show you, if you run on a real quantum computer, this probability will be different. They won't be same. That's what I want to show. Okay, with this one, I will move on to the next example. So this, as I told you, these are all basic examples. What are the basic operations like user interface, visualizing, all those things. Now we are going to see some example on. No, this one is not necessary because usually I will make some modification and then name it as the next session. This is what we are going to see, multi qubit, all the qubit operations using Blochsphere. So this will give you how each gate is behaving. Already we saw in the uh, quantum composer circuit model. Now we are going to see in the uh, Jupyter model. Here you see this Qiskit import star. This is not recommended. We always go with this kind of approach. We have to select only the relevant components. This is the wrong approach. But why I did this one, this is also possible to show that only I put this way. Then this is the X gate. So this is the X gate diagram, and this is X and Y gate. After performing this, you will see this measurement. Then this is your. So what we are doing, we are initializing. then we are doing H operation, then we are doing measure, then another H. Another H is not going to impact. But here I would like to try this 0.70, okay, zero point 0.7, then 0.7J. Let us try this one. Okay, its amplitude is not equal. 0, 1. Let us try. So which means I have to get the exact number. Let me try with this exact number. What is this initial thing? Oh, this is 5, we don't need. Yeah, we are in 6 now. This is 4, we are in 6. Okay, right. In 6, the initial state I want to change like this. Let's make it this as the 0, 1. Okay, now you see this is a different state, and for this different state we will have different visualization. So like this I can perform RZ operation, rotation over Z axis, which will result in this kind of output. So it is just to play around with various gates and their operations. Okay. So now I would like to show the operation glossary of all the gates. I will share this URL in the chat window. I recommend what is that? I recommend all of you to go through. How can I put the chat window? It looks like I can't paste messages in the chat window. Okay, I don't know how to share this one. But this is a good glossary of all gate operations, how these gate operations are working. For example, if not gate, it is X of that particular register. Then this is CX2 registers. Then CCX, which is controlled C0, 3 registers. Then swap. All these operations are appearing here. So if you want to perform these things in the Jupyter lab, you have to run the other code. For example, if you want to T or swap, you can write. This is one circuit. We will try that in the next one. Give me 2 minutes. I will be back.
Sir, your voice is muted, sir. Excuse me, sir. Hello, sir. Voice is muted, sir. I request all the participants to be on the line. There is some technical issue with resource person. We'll get back to you soon.
Right. Now let us continue our exploration of other gates. This is P and P dagger, and we have visualization. So yeah, now let us try the swap. So the circuit, one of the operation what we have seen the swap, right?
Sir, excuse me, sir. So I had
Yes,
sent
madam.
one message in chat box, sir. See if you can able to send the message, sir.
Wait, I have
In
another.
Teams. In Teams.
Yeah, yeah. No, madam, I'm not seeing chat box, madam.
Now
It
only
is
I sent
not.
the message. Just a second, sir. I'll send the message.
I think you have to activate.
Second.
It is telling chat in channel meetings is only available to team members.
Okay. Just a second, sir. I will
Yes,
include
madam.
your name in this one, sir. One
Yes,
second.
madam. Please, madam. No, madam, I'm not seeing it.
Sir, just now I have added you, sir. You see if you are able to chat it, sir.
I think you have to send the
So,
message again.
yeah, I had added you as a member, sir. Now I think you may be able to chat. I think no, still it's
No, madam, still I'm not. The chat window is not activated for me yet.
no. I had sent one email, sir, for you. You just
Oh,
accept that one, sir. I think then
oh,
you can able to do it.
I have to connect using that email.
Yeah, I because have you logged in using that mail ID only, sir?
No, madam, I used the Bitly URL.
Okay, I think using that email ID, if you come again, I think you can chat. I think because already have added
To
you
my,
as
To my Gmail ID, madam.
yeah to Gmail ID, sir.
Okay, let me stop sharing my screen, then open Gmail, then.
Sir, have you received the mail, sir, from Teams?
Yeah, I received, madam. I received. I'm
Please
just
log in
connecting.
using that one, sir.
Then I will leave from here.
Yes, sir, you can.
Madam, I'm not able to use the link what you have sent, madam. That is not allowing me to join.
Okay, madam. Okay, sir. I think it is only for us. Sir, you can do one thing, sir. You can
Yes, madam.
just type the message, sir. That one I I'll put it on the chat box, sir.
Ah, okay, okay, ma'am.
I think that would be because it is not taking out of the college ID, sir.
Ah, I understood that, madam. Okay, madam.
Because only a college ID it has been enabled. No, for them we will be able
Correct,
to in that way.
correct.
You
Uh,
please type, sir, whichever you want to put to the chat window. Please tell us, sir. We'll put it, sir, here.
but those things will be URL that will be very difficult to copy and then paste.
Okay.
Um,
Sir, you can put it in the what at least this one, sir. WhatsApp group. I'll paste it.
okay, madam. My WhatsApp number, how can I share with you? 81.
1 second, sir. I'll just save your number, sir. You can put it in WhatsApp. I'll just this one, sir.
Do you have? But I don't have your number, madam. So I will tell my number. You ping me. If you have your my number, please ping me, madam.
Sir, I have Pradeep sir number, sir.
Okay, now note my number only. 81
81
23
23
09
09
61
61
41.
41, sir.
Yes, madam.
Okay, sir.
You ping, madam.
Yes, yes, sir.
I will share my message in the WhatsApp. Then you can paste it in your chat window.
Yes, sir. Sure.
That we can review here. Okay, let me continue share my screen. Okay, so in continuation to our session, we are in okay, right. Yeah, we are here. So now we have to do this.
Sir, I have sent a message, sir. You can
Okay,
paste,
cool.
sir. I will send paste here, sir. Now.
Sure, madam. So actually, I want you to go to this particular URL. Move this one away. So these are all the operation glossary. This is that link, madam. Okay, now let us do this operation, meaning that S dagger or swap circuit. Yeah, the swap. Swap will have Q0 and Q1. Let me put this one here. So QC equal to quantum circuit of two registers. So I have to QC dot swap 0, 1 and QC dot draw. So this is that swap operation. And then if you want to visualize that swap operation result, it should be this one. So let me put it in the same line, same cell. So you will see these two bits are swapped. After swapping, the previous bit, see both are 0K. That's why you are not seeing this one. Let me init state QC dot. Let me initialize this with different state. So QC dot initialize. Initializement. Okay, right. QC dot initialize initial state. Let me put it. This initial state here itself 0, 1. I'm initializing first bit as a 0, 1, second bit as this value. What we have here in this value. So before swapping, let us draw this blot sphere. I will do as a 2 cells because then only you will be able to visualize properly. Now let us see. In the first bit, I'm initializing with these values. Now you can see here, qubit 0 is 1 ket, and then qubit 1 is in the that we call it as a +1 state. Then after swapping, you can see here both bits are swapped. So this I just demonstrated one of the gate, swap gate from this operation gallery. Like this, what you can do, you can try practicing all gates and then understand how these gates are visualized whenever you are applying or building a quantum circuit. RXS U gates. U gates is very interesting. This particular U gate, you see U gate 1, U gate 3. You can pause the exact angle theta and phi and lambda. All these things you can supply. So which will allow you to manipulate your Bloch sphere the way how you want. I'm looking for the Bloch sphere image. I have here. Let me open the Bloch sphere. Whatever you want, like this, you can, if you want to move that circuit to any place by giving this theta, phi, and lambda, you can bring it to any state. That is the crux of this particular operation, this U3. U3. For U2, it is theta and phi only. So lambda will be fixed value. So it is really very. Then you have composer references. CU is the phase gate, then U gate, all these things. So I encourage all of you to experiment with these different gates. Okay, now coming back to our discussion. There is an important concept we have to cover as a final topic of the day or of this session, which is called Qiskit at localhost. See, now you may experience that everything, whatever I'm doing on IBM cloud, which means I'm consuming IBM cloud services. But if you want to run these things in your local laptop or local desktop, for some reason, there are many reasons why you should have your own local host qubit simulator or Qiskit simulator. For that one, you should have your Python virtual environment. You have to create your Python in virtual environment. I have multiple environment. My quantum computing environment is called ENVQC. So what I will do, I will come to the command, activate my QC environment using this command, script activate. So now you can see my environment is activated to QC. Then I will go to my program wherever I have that programs. I will go here. So in this folder, I have kept all the programs. So under this program, I have to run my Jupyter lab. It will take some time. And during that time, my voice may get distorted, but we'll be back. So why it is taking some time? Because it is building, set up the simulator, all those things. So now you can see a similar interface, but this is localhost in running in my laptop. And then if I open that, see the sixth one, right? Sixth one is what we are, yeah. If I run here, sometimes if you have not installed properly, you will receive error during this import statement itself. It's still running. Now you can experience this is the delay because it depends on your local system capacity. My laptop is 32 GB, still we are seeing this much delay. Then think about running in 4 GB or 8 GB laptop. That is the problem with anything related to quantum computing simulation. That will need more RAM for bringing all those things into your memory, then get it ready. Still it is loading. While it is loading, I will tell you why we need a local host. For these reasons. One, build solution on multiple simulators. To IBM Cloud, it will allow others also, but it is predominantly IBM Q only, right? But if you want to experiment with other models also, then obviously you should have your local environment. So here I can't run MPL. It will throw error because okay, it is coming. No, it is, yeah, it is coming. Then so now you convinced, right? In local host also, I will be able to do this one. So coming back to this one. Build solution on multiple simulators. That is one of the important thing. Then build your production code. Production code means you don't want to share because this is a cloud and you may not be sure that whether your IP, your intelligence property will be exposed. If you don't want to have that kind of IP, hello, do you hear me now? Madam?
Yes, sir.
Do you hear me now? I lost in between. It's okay now, right?
So we are able to
Build your production code, experiment hybrid approaches. Hybrid approaches, we can do it in IBM Cloud also, but if you have your own architecture, then localhost is the ideal way. So I will show you my environment because that will give you the reason why I have my own localhost. Remember just now I showed you I have multiple environment for Python, Django, then Python, data science, all those things. If I activate my QC using this command, if I list, if any of hope all of you familiar with the Python concept. So the pip list is the Python packages list.
you see my pip list. Um, yeah, now I'm able to see everything. Insert flow. Okay. Let me go to the top one. You can see here I have Circ. If I want to write a program on Google Circ, I can import these things. And similarly, I have D-Wave also. Here I have D-Wave. And if you scroll down, I have other Keras, other machine learning packages. And also I have this forest. Oh, I have removed the forest. I have removed those things. But if I want to have my other, see, PyQuil, which is from Rigetti forest. Yeah, this is Rigetti forest. Then I have our Qiskit. So within this environment, I have 4 quantum simulators. So this kind of multiple heterogeneous environments is your requirement. And obviously I'm playing around with multiple environments. Same code I will run on multiple environment. Those kind of configuration, you certainly need a local host system or local host simulator. So how we can incorporate or how you can install your local host, that I will give you the guidance now. And let me put it in the itself, because that will help you. In your host environment. Python 3.5, 3.8. I recommend 3.8.5. Don't go for 3.9 because 3.9 NumPy is not compatible with the other quantum computing NumPy. So I recommend 3.8.5. Then install virtual environment and create new virtual environment. All this one command will install all Qiskit related components. Now you can see here in Indo, I have this much of Qiskit, right? Qiskit, Air, Aqua, Experiments, Finance, IBM Q-Pro, everything is here. All these things can be done with one single instruction. Pip install Qiskit all. Sometimes Qiskit all will omit this Qiskit textbook. This Qiskit textbook is useful in case of you are running some demo. So I recommend after pip install, check for whether you have textbook installed. If not, you run it again. Pip install Qiskit textbook. So these are the steps. Also, you need Jupyter Lab. So Jupyter, because most of the visualization on the quantum Qiskit are compatible with Jupyter Lab. If you straight away run on your Python programs, the visualizations are not effective. I tried with my Python program. You can see here, I have a Python program, Petershore Python program, and that did not, the visualization did not come correctly. That is the reason why I see this is the Python program to open properly here, but I can open in my Visual Studio Code. So personally, what I'm using for my production work, I'm using Visual Studio Code. So I will show you how Visual Studio Code will appear. Right click on this one, open with the code. To install. Visual Studio. IPyNB files. So usually for the production purpose, we will convert that IPyNB into Py version. You see here, this is my store IPyNB. So this is my Peter Store algorithm in the Jupyter notebook. But this is, oh, sorry. Oh, okay, I did something wrong. I overwrite the file. I converted that into a Python file. It is not appearing now. Okay, my bad.
Excuse me, sir. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yes, madam.
So just a reminder, sir, we have last 10 minutes. The
Yes,
session
madam.
ends at 1:45. We shall continue at 2:30 again, sir.
Yeah, yes, madam. This is the final part of today's session. You can see here my session plan. So
Okay.
Qiskit as local host 12:40, 12:25, and then 15 minutes. And we are in the 15 minutes mark.
Okay.
Then I have another 5 minutes for Q&A.
Okay.
I have the track of the time. Thanks, madam. Thanks for reminding. So here I can file save as. Let me try to save as. Instead of Jupyter, let me save as a Python file. So these things you can play around. I did like this only. That's why. Do like this also. All commands in one Py file. So most of the production systems are running this way. They are not just Jupyter notebooks. They are uh, full-fledged Python program with OOPS concept, all those things incorporated into one modular Python file. So to do this kind of thing, we need Visual Studio Code as an editor. So these are my recommendation for building your local host environment. Okay. With this, now I'm open for question because we have another 10 minutes or 8 minutes from now. We have covered a lot of technical stuff, I know, and I kept all the introduction concept for session 5. In the next session, we will deep dive into these algorithms, Bower algorithm, then Shor's algorithm. Then remember, I tried to run on IBM that we will have then some applications. So this is the plan for afternoon session. So now I open for question. More questions? And madam, later you ping your Gmail ID. I will add you to this Google Drive and give you permission. You can share with whoever are interested to access the source.
Okay, sir. Okay, we'll do that. Any questions from the participants? Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderful session. We shall have a lunch break. Shall we start at 2:30, sir?
Exactly, 2:30 we can start. Okay, madam.
Thank
you.
Let us join back at 2:30 sharp.
Thanks to all faculty members. Thanks, madam. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.